Shalom, Kol Halayim, La Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kodash, double honors to the apostles and the bishops and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Shalom to you fellow laborers out there doing the work in truth and in sincerity, especially during these times. Shalom to the few Akwath that believe as well. All right. Shalom to the whole elect. We're watching, Gog be a guard into those other nations. And of course, we know that we're going to hear of these things, right, as far as pertaining to war, because we live in a time where prophecy is being fulfilled, at an all-time high, man, as far as, the great future judgments that's been spoken through the prophets of old. And we're actually pushing the same thing and breaking it down and making it plain upon tables, as the scriptures say in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. And so one of the things we're making plain to you is that there's going to be a World War III, which the scriptures call the third woe. All right, let's go to the book of Revelation 11 and verse 14, and it reads, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. Right, which the second woe means destruction. All right, which is what known as the World War II that took place, and then you have World War III, which is the third woe coming quickly. Meaning what? It's hastening quickly, because the reason why it's hastening quickly is because we're quickly approaching, all right, that final judgment where the thermonuclear fire is going to be that final judgment. Okay, but there's going to be a build up to it. Okay, it's going to be a build up to it, and we know about the pestilence. We know about the famine. Different earthquakes in different places. We know about that. But hey, man, these wars are constantly being spoken about in the news, man. So we must pay attention to it because it's pertaining to prophecy, man. Okay? So with that, let's see here. Let's go straight to the article. It says Putin backs Maduro amid standoff with U.S. The leader spoke over the phone on Thursday, highlighting strategic partnership. And why they got strategic partnership is because, Russia is, just like China, going in with business deals, okay? Versus, Babylon the Great going in there with demands, okay? Bear with me 1 second. And so, basically, you got Moab or China is doing business deals with these various countries, just like Russia is, all right? And in return, these countries are willing to do the barter system, share resources, whatever, with China and Russia. And that's something the U.S. can't stand because of their global hegemony is being challenged. Okay, the status quo is being shifted. As far as the power and influence that America has in the earth, it's basically dying out because we're at the last dying days of Babylon the Great, even. Okay, so. Russian President Vladimir Putin has backed Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro amid the U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean. The leaders highlighted close ties between Moscow and Caracas during a phone call on Thursday, according to the Kremlin Putin expressed solidarity with the people of Venezuela and reaffirmed his support for Maduro, but for the Maduro government's resolve to defend national interests and sovereignty against foreign pressure. Right. Meaning what? They support him against, the evil forces that's trying to take a democratically elected president out of office, which is Nicolas Maduro. Okay. They try to create a coup and all that stuff. It didn't work. Okay, this dude stood in, the presidential seat, as far as Nicolas Maduro. Okay, and the people backed him. Okay, so it says, and that's hypocritical too, man, because the people actually back their candidates in these other countries, man. Okay, and they'll get the nudge versus over here in Babylon, one can win the popularity vote and the other person win, showing you that, popularity vote don't really count. Basically, they make decisions behind closed doors. But anyways, because people still believe in that shit. But anyways, there's pressure from Russia being on the heels of America by going to Venezuela is a serious deal. Bear with me 1 second. I'm back, but I'm getting over this mucus coming out of my chest still, so bear with me. You hear a lot of hawking and spitting out of this mucus and phlegm. So yeah, basically what Russia is doing is being a guard to these other nations. Let's get that real quick. Ezekiel 38. Don't go to the point. Because you read up, it goes into the prophecy of Gog, right, the land of Magog, which we know that's Russia that sits in that place. And I think I got a map up too. I can show it to you, as we do, have done many times. Here we go. So these are images right here of Gog, the land of Magog, and you can see, when you find a good map, you see that Russia sits in the land of Magog, okay? And, you pretty much see those other countries as well, which is spoken about, Gomer, Tergamar, Meshech, and Tubal. This is why, basically, you see those countries that's, in Europe and even the countries that was part of the USSR, they're afraid because they know what Russia is capable. They know what Russia is capable of doing. Hence, you see a lot of the Russian military arsenal on display for the world to see. Now they're put into use. Okay, which it's all for the Lord's purpose, man. All right, so it says Ezekiel 38. Go right to the point. It says, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So when you look at the word guard, I can look it up real quick. I'll find it. Okay, here we go. Guard. It says Hebrew word is mashamar. All right, mashamar. The root word is shamar. Shamar is to watch, I believe. Yeah, it means to watch, shamar. It says place of confinement, prison, guard, jail, guard, post, watch, observance. See, guard, post, act of guarding. Okay, guarding. So let's get a more profound definition for it. or a more deeper understanding of the word guard. Here it is right here. Shrink that a little bit. Word guard. Okay, here we go. It says, it's not that. There we go. Guard. Verb. It says to keep watch over. Guard. Protect. Maintain. Preserve. Okay. So this is what's going on, man. Russia is watching over these other countries, being the guard and protecting them, right, to preserve them from what? Being destroyed by Babylon the Great. See? Let's see. Let's go back to the article. Yeah, so Russia is being a guard unto them, man. Shit. You know, these devils, when they look at these lands, they look at these lands with, with fatness in their eyes. Because it says that in Psalm 73, their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than the heart could wish. The fatness represents what? The wealth, the resources, right? Which translates into what? Riches, man. That's why they're eyeing this field, man, of Venezuela. Look at this. Venezuelan natural resources. Venezuela is incredibly rich in natural resources, most notably holding the world's largest proven oil reserves, heavy, sour crude, and significant deposits of natural gas, alongside substantial gold, bauxite, iron ore, diamonds, and other minerals like coltan. So, Venezuela is not no poor country by resources, but it's being made poor through sanctions, which cause what? Inflation. Okay, so that's why they're eyeing, Venezuela, because they want to get those resources out of there. So in Micah 2 and verse 1, it says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds, but more than likely they practice it because it's in the power of their hand. And that's the reason why they're doing it, man. All right? They're come up with these evil plans and shit to topple, a democratically elected president, Verse 2, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And that's what they're doing, man. All right? They're going to take Venezuela by violence if the Lord allow it. But the Lord is causing God, okay, to confront America about its regime change and toppling these sovereign, countries' leaders, man. And this is a constant thing, man. It says what? Woe to the oppressing city. That oppressing city is America today, man. Babylon the Great. Okay? That's Babylon the Great. All right? In a nutshell, So let's go here to the book of Habakkuk chapter 1. Habakkuk chapter 1 and verse 2, it says, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. Which the Lord will save. He's going to save his elect from the violent man, which is Esau, Edom. Verse 3, why doest thou show me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention. Right, and this is what we observe every day. All right, iniquity, which is wickedness. All right, and also, we're witnessing violence, man. All right, before our very eyes, man. All right, violence on a whole other scale. Because when you get into the war and bombs being dropped and all kind of shit, setting up occupation in these different lands, that's That's not done with peace. That's done by violence. You know. So it says, "Why doest thou show me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention." Exactly. You know. There's nothing but spoiling and violence before us, man. And we're praying to Yahweh Shem Shai that the Lord will, destroy this man. All right, the one that spoiled this man. Because that's what Esau is. He's known as the great spoiler. This is Isaiah 33. And 1, it says, "Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and didst treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee." Right. You know? That's pretty much self-explanatory, Spoiling goes to what? Destroying, ruining people. Right? He's done his damnedest to ruin us, the children of Israel, but the Lord has a promise and the covenant that he made with us that he won't forsake. And that's why we're still here. But you're going to cease to spoil, then you're going to be spoiled, man. And you can see that, man. Because, America basically, is always constantly at war. Just like Rome was. And one of the things that bankrupt Rome or caused Roman, or was a contributing factor to Rome falling was its economy was fucked up. It was bad. Same with America. Look at the debt that America is in. And that's all about design. Excuse me. But yeah, going back to the scripture, hey, the great spoiler on earth is Esau, Edom. He destroys people, land, and things. That's a fact. You gotta agree with it. That's the truth is the truth. You ain't gotta agree with the truth. It's gonna stand whether you like it or not. Nobody spoils more than the so-called white man. Here it is, Jacob, the face of crime. Jacob is the face of crime, but Esau, Edom can go across the earth and basically just shoot missiles on sovereign countries and shit, toppling their presidents and things like that. But anyways, let's continue on. So we can be all day, Yeah, so the treacherous dealer is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. All right. And he's done the people, continual stroke, like the scriptures say in Isaiah 14. All right, everything he puts forth is to basically wear out the saints, man. Especially, Let's continue, man. All right, going back to Ezekiel 38. All right, now we understand that, that Russia is playing that role of being a guard to these nations. That's fulfillment of prophecy that we're watching. Which is going to cause what? More heightened tensions between the two, between Gog, the land of Gog, and Babylon. Because these are the main two countries they're going to go head to head, man, along with their allies. Okay, and man. Hey, America used to getting their way, man. Used to getting what they want. But now these countries are standing up for themselves, man. Actually fighting back. All right, with the help of who? Russia. All right, Russia is leading the way. Using their military equipment. You got the S-300s over in Venezuela. You're talking about the Russian cruise missiles supposed to be coming. Even talks of S-400. All right, you got the drones. Got the submarines, things like that. That's on guard, on deck. That's in the Caribbean, right now as we speak. stand in the road and being a guard to these nations, man. Excuse me. Which show you that what? Hey, the Lord's counsel is going to stand, man. Let's get that real quick. I'm gonna get ready to close. All right. Book of Proverbs 19 and 21. It says there are many. It says there are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord that shall stand. Yeah, that's true. You know, there's many things you think about, but the Lord direct man's steps, man. You know, it's no it's no different with these heathen, man. They do everything according to the Lord's will, man. The one deviates from it, it's like it. Cause why? They're all filling their roles, man. Okay, even if they're, you know, even if they're, I was gonna say, basically pre-planning for an event maybe that's down the line. A lot of shit transpire where you don't get to it. You don't happen because why? The Lord directed your steps. Man's goings are of the Lord. You know, how then should a man understand his own way? You know, but the counsel of the Heavenly Father has always stood. You know, even in even in even in hardcore bondage. You know, the counsel of the Lord was standing because, you know, look what transpired, man. Two witnesses, man. The Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom come together. Okay? And it's no different, man. It's concerning these heathen, man. You got these heathen that's possessing these different, you know, these heathen, they possess these different thoughts. All right, they have these different thoughts of ruling. All right, they have these different devices of ruling. Guess what? They're gonna be thrown down. Okay, because why? The Lord is gonna cause his men, all right, to proclaim his counsel, and then guess what? It's gonna come to pass. Okay. The men of the Lord, the prophets, were set up to foretell, and then guess what? After that, the Lord brought forth his word to accomplish that which he sent it forth to do. You know, in other words. So let's move on. Let's go. What was that? Ezekiel 38 in verse 7 says, Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. See? So Russia is doing their role, man. Being a guard to these other nations that Americans are, you know, that America is against, man. All right? America is against them. You know, and basically these countries, you know, got America demonizing through the media. But hey, guess what? Hey, the Lord counsel is standing because why? Gog is going out and confronting the, you know, Babylon head to head in these different lands. Will show you we're close to that third world war. Even though there's other prophecies to be fulfilled, and they will be fulfilled. All right. Well, right now we're seeing the heightened tensions between, you know, the nations, which is World War III brewing up. You know, so we're going to continue to see that because the Lord, hey, Yahweh Shah himself said what? He said, hey, you know, get it. I want to quote it. Matthew 24 and verse 6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." So, you know, we see all these wars and, you know, rumors of wars, and guess what? They're happening. That's how you know that, hey, this is a true and faithful book, because the words which contain this prophecy are coming to pass. You know? So, hey, man, we're going to continue to see the Lord's word being fulfilled, man, in these last days of the wicked kingdom, you know? So with that, I'm gonna close. Lord, when you've been edified, shalom to the 144,000, and I'll see you next video, Lord willing, shalom.